Just a week before Christmas last year, the Veltre family in North Forsyth experienced a night they will never forget.
It was a little after midnight. We have a special needs daughter that lives with us. We have 6 kids, but just one. She's the only one at home. And she was asleep upstairs with her door closed. We were asleep downstairs with our doors closed. We have a master on the main plan. And smoke alarm went off in our bedroom that awakened us. I got up first and went out into the hallway, and I saw a glow coming from the dining room. Turned the corner, and the dining room was engulfed in flames.
And then she shouted to me, "It's a fire." I'm like, "What?" I said more, but what? And I jumped up and ran out, and at first I looked at it like, this can't be real.
After briefly attempting to fight the fire themselves, the family had to make a difficult decision.
By the time we walked out, we did not know if the fire had been extinguished. We just decided that the smoke had become too high, and we didn't want to have an inhalation problem. So I said, unlock the front door for the fire department and let's go.
And the fire was directly below one of our cold air returns. So it was on, so it was basically inhaling all of that smoke into the air and then pushing it out, and it went into our kitchen. And so as the lights were still on, and I looked at it, and I couldn't believe the cloud that was probably right about eye level here. And I'm not the tallest person in the world. I'm only about 5'8", 5'9", and it was pretty bad. And I'm like, we have to get out of here. So we unlocked the front door and ran out the back. And then we just waited.
How quickly were you able to get back into your home?
The fire happened on December 19th, and we just moved back in less than 2 weeks ago.
The Forsyth County Fire Department was able to determine that the fire was caused by a faulty extension cord in the family's living room.
Honestly, where that fire was, if it wasn't able to be controlled and if we couldn't get everyone to put it out and everything, it would have been really bad because it was right on the other side of our staircase. So if that wall would have gone up and we couldn't get our daughter out, we would have had to get her through a fire wall of some type. So it could have been so much worse.
So what role do you think the smoke alarms played in all of this? It sounds like it was probably the most vital.
I mean, if they were not working properly, we would not be sitting here, honestly. As I explained, we have a master on the main floor plan. So the way code is there's a smoke alarm in every sleeping area, but because our bedroom is on the first floor, that was the only smoke alarm on that floor. So the smoke went all the way up through the foyer and upstairs to the end of the hall before the first smoke alarm went off. And that triggered all the others. So that was the point to where we were awakened by the one in our bedroom. But clearly, if they had not been working, we wouldn't be sitting here. Unfortunately, it's so imperative to make sure that they're working and having them connected if at all possible. Because in this situation, had they not been connected, we may not have been awakened. Ours might not have gone off.
You know, they always joke you had one job. You had one job. Well, it had one job. One job was to wake us up, and it did what it had to do. So we're very thankful.
Forsyth County Senior Fire Prevention Training Officer Bridget Butinsky agrees that had the smoke alarms not been in working order, the Veltre story could have ended much differently.
This family followed every guideline we give about testing them and replacing the batteries and having working smoke alarms that are less than 10 years old. So they actually did everything we want, and they worked. They did exactly their job.
Butinsky says that where the Veltre smoke alarms were placed was also key in saving their lives. She says that when placing smoke alarms in any home, there's a simple rule of thumb to follow.
Our suggestion is inside every sleeping area, outside every sleeping area, in every living area, and on every floor. And the reason we say inside the sleeping area and outside the sleeping area is because we actually want you to close the door when you're sleeping, because that will actually buy you more time to hear the alarm and escape something in your house.
When we had a post-fire discussion with the Forsyth County safety folks, we looked at each other. We're sitting on our stairs after the discussion, and we were both almost in tears, realizing how close we were to losing our lives and being that person that everybody knew about at Christmas when you hear it on the news. But we were the anonymous people that nobody heard about, and we got to live our lives. Tell you the truth, I'm scared of a lot of stuff right now. I'm concerned about all these little things that could cause problems. Even where I put things down when I'm working, We're hanging a lot of stuff right now, my tools. Very careful about what I put them, closing up knives and things like that. But when it comes to fire preparedness, you have to be very aware of what could happen. So I've been a huge advocate for the last 2 months, and I think my coworkers and a lot of people I run into, my comment to everyone is, I'm going to give you a good piece of advice right now. Make sure you have good working smoke detectors, especially a lot of the guys that were contractors coming in the house, people I ran into, and I'm going to give you a piece of advice. And yeah, it sounds like a crazy man coming out of nowhere, but we've been there. And I'm very happy that a lot of folks at work said, oh yeah, we've had the one disconnected in the first floor because of every time we cook. Well, first of all, learn how to cook right. You won't have that problem. And get that thing hooked up. And one of my coworkers, I was so happy, he came back and said, you know, John, you went through and told me what I had to look for. I tore them all out and put all brand new ones in because mine were so old that they were turning yellow. And if they're turning yellow, they got to go. Because yellow is just an oxidation process that happens over time. And you got to get rid of them. That means they've done their job. They're still somewhat functional, but the technology that's out there now is so much better. I didn't know that mine were a combination carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. Thanks to the Forsyth County Fire Department, they explained all that to me. It went step by step and just showed us how fortunate we were that we had the right equipment. Why did we have the right equipment? Our house is newer. If you have a house that's more than 10 years old or even older than that, there's a good chance your fire system is bad. You got to get it checked out. You got to get it changed.
The other thing that I would recommend is that to have a plan and teach your children what to do. If they can, I know that there's fire safety classes available in the schools, but make sure that as a family, you know what you're going to do in a situation. We were lucky that the fire wasn't so bad that our daughter was able to come down the stairs and out. But I know that there are ladders that they can have that hang out the windows. My understanding is there's 2 different kinds, and one that can be used only one time, or there's another one that can be used repeatedly. If you have a child that's afraid, train them, have a mock situation where maybe somebody's outside with a ladder to make them comfortable to try it. But that's another thing that I tell a lot of people, especially when you have small children. You want to make sure that everybody knows what to do in this type of situation. If you have questions, call your fire department because I know that they'd be happy to answer any questions.
Honestly, in my opinion, I think my wife was actually spot on that one because the fire department, I think, enjoys teaching people more on not having fires in their house rather than putting them out. They would have more of these stories like ours than the latter. I mean, the only time you hear about a fire is when you hear there was a fire, family of 4, they all perished, and then you hear the tagline at the end, the smoke detector didn't have a battery in it or the smoke detector was broken. It's so simple. For $20 at a very minimum on one floor, you have that silent sentinel ready to save your life.
Roughly 3 out of every fire deaths occur in homes with no working smoke alarms, so please take the necessary time today to make sure that your family is prepared for an emergency tomorrow. To contact the Forsyth County Fire Department for more information on how smoke alarms save lives and how they can help ensure that your home is prepared for an emergency, email publiceducation@forsythco.com or call the fire department today.